It's fair to say that not many people truly expected this situation to unfold the way it has. And honestly, much of the attention around it comes back to that now widely talked about photograph, the one that, reportedly, certain parties tried to keep out of the public eye. If you cast your mind back, you'll remember that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle made an appearance at Kris Jenner's 70th birthday celebration. Now, what really got people talking wasn't just their attendance, but a particular moment captured in that image. There was Prince Harry, appearing rather captivated, looking toward Kris Jenner, who was dressed in a bold and quite eye-catching outfit. To be fair, Kris Jenner looked fantastic for her age, elegant, confident, and very well put together. That's not said in a negative way at all. In fact, she carried herself with style, and many would agree she looked impressive and completely at ease in that setting. If you are enjoying this video and want to see more updates and insights, don't forget to like this video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel so you never miss out on the latest news and discussions. And I'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment below and let me know what you think about this story. But as we know, things didn't quite go the way Meghan may have expected when it came to building connections with the Kardashian-Jenner circle. Reports suggest that the Kardashians themselves were not convinced by certain narratives. And in the world of Hollywood, relationships rarely end in a dramatic, obvious way. Instead, people tend to quietly step back. They don't completely cut ties, they simply place others at a distance, keeping the door slightly open in case circumstances change in the future. That's often how things work. You don't fully burn bridges because you never know when someone might become useful again. And that seems to be where things currently stand, particularly in Meghan Markle's case. If her position were to shift and she became beneficial to certain circles again, then perhaps those relationships would quickly restart. But for now, she appears to be somewhat on the sidelines. What makes this situation more interesting is what's been said about Prince Harry. According to a well-placed source, he's slowly beginning to see things more clearly. When someone falls deeply in love, they often accept everything their partner says without question. That's simply human nature. When emotions are strong, logic can take a back seat, and it can take a long time before reality starts to come into focus. We've seen similar patterns elsewhere. Take, for example, the situation involving Nicola Peltz Beckham and Brooklyn Beckham. Before his marriage, Brooklyn appeared to have a very close bond with his family. But after the relationship developed further, things seemed to change quite suddenly, at least from the outside looking in. It leaves people wondering how such a shift can happen. After all, Victoria Beckham and David Beckham are often seen as caring and involved parents. Of course, none of us truly know what goes on behind closed doors, but from what is visible, Victoria, in particular, comes across as a very affectionate mother. You see those small moments, adjusting her children's hair, showing concern, and while it may seem slightly overprotective to some, it's also warm and genuine. That's what many mothers do. And those are the things families tend to value deeply. In Prince Harry's case, his own situation is very different. Losing his mother, Princess Diana, at a young age clearly had a lasting impact on him. Many believe that, over the years, he's been searching for that same sense of emotional comfort and support. And when he met Meghan Markle, it's possible he felt he had found something similar, a strong emotional connection that fulfilled that need. However, things can change when new people enter your life and offer a different perspective. Sometimes, all it takes is one conversation or one experience for someone to begin questioning everything they once believed. And according to a former staff member, that may have been exactly what happened when Harry spent time with Kris Jenner. Let me explain a bit further. We've all had moments like this, haven't we? You meet someone, and they say something that suddenly makes you look at your own situation in a completely different way. It's not always immediate, but it plants a seed. Until then, you might have been comfortable, even happy, within your own bubble. Life gets busy, long hours, responsibilities, and you don't always stop to reflect. But eventually, something clicks, and you start to think, maybe I need to reconsider this. It's never an easy realization. No one wants to feel unhappy or uncertain. Ideally, we all want a peaceful, content life surrounded by people who care about us. But when family relationships become strained or broken, it creates a gap that's not easy to fill. In Harry's case, much of the public narrative has centered around his criticism of his own family. Time and time again, it's been Harry sharing his version of events. Meanwhile, we hear very little about Meghan's family background in comparison. Her father, Thomas Markle, despite occasionally being in the news, has largely remained quiet about deeper personal matters. So, much of what the public understands comes from Harry's perspective. But now, as time goes on, people are beginning to question the full picture. This is where things take another interesting turn. Meghan and Harry reportedly developed a friendly connection with Kris Jenner. During their interactions, one topic that came up was Kris Jenner's experience as a grandmother. Now, it's worth noting that Kris Jenner has several grandchildren. Despite her busy lifestyle, running businesses, maintaining her public image, and supporting her own children, she spoke very openly about how much she values that role. She explained that being a grandmother brings a different kind of joy. You get to spend meaningful time with the children, enjoy special moments, and do things you may not have had time for when raising your own kids. But at the same time, there's less pressure. As she put it, you can enjoy those moments and then, at the end of the day, return the children to their parents. It's a balance of love and freedom. Apparently, Prince Harry had a deep and thoughtful conversation with Kris Jenner about this. They spoke about family, about children, and about what those relationships mean. And as anyone would expect, Harry cares deeply about his own children. That conversation seems to have left a lasting impression on him. From what's been suggested, Harry has started to reflect on what his children might be missing, particularly when it comes to relationships with grandparents. Growing up, both Harry and Prince William had strong connections with their own grandparents, including Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh. Prince Philip, in particular, was known for his playful and adventurous side. He would do things that children loved, activities that might not always be considered proper, but created unforgettable memories. Those are the kinds of moments that stay with you for life. Now, Harry appears to be realizing the importance of those experiences. There's a sense that he may want something similar for his own children. At the same time, there's also an awareness that those opportunities are currently limited. On Meghan's side of the family, those connections don't seem to be present. And while there has been occasional discussion about reconnecting with King Charles, the reality is that those relationships have been strained for some time. Behind the scenes, this is said to be something that's weighing on Harry. The idea of his children having a bond with their grandparents, something he once had, is clearly important to him. There are also insights from a former staff member who observed their day-to-day life. According to them, Harry is very hands-on as a parent. He spends a lot of time with his children, engaging with them in a relaxed and playful way. It's something he takes pride in. However, there were also claims, allegedly, that Meghan was less present in those daily routines. For example, there was no clear evidence of typical school drop-offs or everyday parenting tasks. Instead, much of the responsibility appeared to fall to staff members within their home. Their residence in Montecito is known to be large and somewhat secluded, with different areas spread out across the property. Harry, it seems, enjoys bringing his children into his own space, sharing moments with them, and being actively involved. But the bigger realization, sparked in part by that conversation with Kris Jenner, is about what's missing. The kind of extended family dynamic that includes grandparents, shared experiences, and those small but meaningful connections. Kris Jenner's perspective highlighted something simple yet powerful. Those relationships matter. They create memories, provide support, and add another layer of love to a child's life. And now, it appears that Harry is beginning to see that more clearly than ever before. The question, of course, is whether there's a way to rebuild those connections. Can those broken ties be repaired? Can the past be set aside for the sake of the next generation? At this stage, it remains uncertain. But one thing is clear, there's been a shift in how Prince Harry views the situation. And sometimes, that's the first step toward change. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more updates and insights, don't forget to like this video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel so you never miss out on the latest news and discussions. And I'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment below and let me know what you think about this story.